Moving into the third drop here. Here we go.
Get on the line.
So you guys might be able to hear on the Instagram video when I first teased the song, the drop is this, but it's not this. You know, what I did before was I was doing the low end from the actual kick itself, that it was in Serum. So before it was like this. Listen to the low end. So what I did end up doing was I added stops and starts to the drop, and I low cutted this at 135 hertz. The kick drum that's playing that was playing the low end before directly from Serum. I low cutted it and I separated it and to the low end for right here. So I gave it just pure sine wave, and what I did was I allowed it to play no low end, and then I mixed in the pure sub like this because I didn't want to get that high. What is that? It's like C sharp, you know? I didn't want to get that C sharp note playing at the higher octave of C sharp because it's just not going to hit on a sound system. And also, that's not the first note that I wanted to be on this, all this build up that we had, you know? It's so aggressive, the build up and the melody. You're like, okay, what's going on?
You gotta get up every morning.
You're like, okay, this low note hits, watch. The low note, here it is. Watch it go high. Stop. All the slow like stops and starts, and then the lowness of the sub, that all just came together. That's what you really want to do, especially when you have a very, very busy mix down with a lot of different elements. You want to make sure you mix it up with stops and starts, things that break up the pattern that you have going on, because just straight synths, like just that going, it can get old and it can be harsh on the ears. So you want to create that rhythm, because you really lose the rhythm, especially when you're doing like this melodic raw trap thing or anything melodic. You can really lose the rhythm in the synths and all the things that make the mix down so busy. So that's why I decided to break it up with all these stops and starts. Check it out one more time. I'll break it down. Here we go. Listen for the low note, because before, and I'll give you before and after. So this is how the track was before. Before I had this separate low end, we'll go ahead and play it like this. So this is how the first note was. Listen for how the first note that you hear low end wise is executed when we have the low end coming from the kick drum itself in Serum, playing the high C sharp note. So here we go. Listen for it, here it is. I mean, doesn't sound awful. It's a little bit less controlled, you know. Let's see here, bam. But it just sounds a lot more controlled, a lot more professional, in my opinion, and a lot smoother of a representation on a giant sound system that you're gonna get when you play this sucker out, by sort of separating that low end and gaining more control. So now, the B reference, which ended up being the final reference, is this. Listen for the low end. Listen for it. And it really allowed those mid-range frequencies of the kick, especially when it starts getting high. You hear I was playing in the sides a lot. It allows it to sound like a sandwich, you know. You've got your low end that's sitting here, then you've got those mid-range frequencies sitting above it, and then all the other things are just layered on top, and it really creates a nice final result. Yeah,